Thank you so much, Madam Chair, for convening this space for us to hear about the impacts on our neighbors. It's clear that we are here doing the work. We're here ready to do our jobs, ready to negotiate, to work with colleagues from across the country and across the aisle to reopen government and serve our neighbors. But for the second week in a row, Speaker Johnson and Republicans have canceled votes to remain on vacation while American families are facing an unprecedented healthcare crisis. Instead of working across the aisle to lower costs for families in our communities, President Trump and Republican leaders chose to shut down the government. And I say chose because it is an active choice. They had months, as you have heard from panelists before, months to prepare for an ending budget deadline, to negotiate a bipartisan deal to keep the government open. This is a choice that puts millions of lives at risk, and it's simply unacceptable. In Washington state, on average, health insurance through the ACA will rise $1,510 per person due to Republican inaction. These increases would price out 80,000 Washingtonians, forcing families to choose between healthcare coverage and other basic necessities, like keeping a roof over their head, paying for their kids' before and after school care or child care. Families are already struggling, and this cut to our health coverage comes at the worst time possible. This is all happening on top of the cuts to ACA and Medicaid under the big ugly law. Cuts that experts estimate will result in 51,000 additional deaths across the country every year. 51,000 additional deaths. These numbers aren't just statistics, they're real lives. I had a roundtable with constituents in Grays Harbor County this weekend, one of the lowest income counties in my district. And I heard from a constituent, Carol, whose 41-year-old son has glaucoma and is legally blind. He receives the medication and regular doctor's visits that allow him to continue working and maintaining independence because of Apple Health, Washington State Medicaid program. Oh, okay. All right. And cuts to Medicaid would make healthcare completely unaffordable for him. Another one of my constituents, Denise from Aberdeen, is a 62-year-old mental health care therapist managing lupus. Now, we are in a mental health care crisis. We know we don't have enough providers, and Denise is managing her own health crisis in order to keep her patients alive. Thanks to the ACA's premium tax credits, she can afford this healthcare coverage. She's a small business owner, an independent provider, and she buys her healthcare on the ACA. But losing this benefit would push her insurance costs to nearly $3,000 a month. And the average mental health care provider makes about $60,000 a year, so $3,000 a month is solidly more than half of her take-home pay, leaving her just an average of $2,000 a month to pay for rent, to pay for food, to pay for all her other necessities. Other constituents with stories like these said, I wasn't able to afford health insurance until the tax credits. Please do not take this away. One of my neighbors said, I will either die from working too many hours to afford my health care, or I will die from heart disease. And another, without the enhanced premium tax credits, I wouldn't be able to afford my HIV treatment. These subsidies are literally keeping me alive. These stories make it clear that we cannot let political games put lives at risk. It's time for Republicans to come to the negotiating table and work with Democrats to open the government and protect these ACA subsidies that keep our community alive and healthy.